Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Sunday conversation. It's 8 o'clock on Sunday, April 13th. A little different time than I usually do the Sunday conversations, but as you guys could tell by the name of the video, was in MIA this weekend for a wedding party in Miami. And I could just say, I live in Tampa, Florida. Love Tampa, Florida. One of the best cities in the whole country is Miami, Florida, though. Every time I go there, it exceeds my expectations every single time. I mean, Tampa's beautiful. The weather's beautiful. There's lots to do. Crystal clear beaches, and the people are great. The food is great. But Miami's just a different level. It's like New York City on the water, on the beach. It truly is the spot to be. Brickell, Miami is the nightlife capital right now. So much to do there, from nightlife to out restaurants, just whatever you want to do, shows, all that kind of stuff. So was there for a weekend for a wedding party. Absolutely insane wedding party. I just think it's great to talk about a little bit of the recap, but we're gonna dive into some other things as well here, just for the purposes of the Sunday conversation, educational aspect. Just want to show you guys some things I'm working through for this week. Some of my stuff that I am going to be learning more on, self-educating, and helping turn into some of the e-commerce brands, and to make things a little bit more revenue, make things a little better from that perspective. Just self-educating and doing that. So what I mean by self-educating is just learning new skills that can translate into the e-commerce world, things that'll help you. And also using tools is a huge part of it. So I'm going to be showing you guys some of the tools I'm using to self-educate. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking through today. So any questions, make sure to please drop those in the chat below as I'm talking through this stuff. And I do have some resources that I do maybe want to share, but I new setup here in the new office. So my screen share might be a little out of whack, but weekend in Miami was great. If you guys never been to Miami, I highly recommend you get down there and experience it once or twice. From a sheer nightlife perspective, it's the best, but also the motivation of driving through some of those neighborhoods and in Coral Gables and Coconut Grove and seeing these houses on the water, and it was gorgeous. This is gorgeous. The weather's perfect. It was a crisp 80 degrees during the day every single day I was there. And then at night, it's a nice cool 70 degrees with the wind blowing. So it's beautiful. It's perfect. Any questions you guys have about that, let me know. The wedding was insane. It was at the Biscayne Museum. Just an insane venue. I'm so grateful for the people that invited me. I'm not going to dox them on here, but absolutely insane wedding. It was a pleasure to be a part of it. So what I want to talk about now, the whole reason I wanted to come on here tonight, is because there are some things that I'm going to be working on tonight into tomorrow morning. Just trying to further educate the e-commerce skills that I have, and the ease of building a business, and ways to be unique in business in today's day and age, is to create unique stuff and create unique businesses and problem solving abilities. And what that really is in today's day and age is being able to create software as a service is a huge one. And you hear a lot about this. You hear a lot of other e-com gurus talking about this, software as a service. So what is this exactly, and how can you start to build this and start to gain customers in this? Well, software as a service is pretty much just any application that users can use. Think of a weather app, or maybe just any application is a software as a service, right? Anything that you're going to be paying for and using, even Netflix is a software as a service, right? That's just an application you download to your computer or to your TV, and then you pay them $12.99 a month for all their shows that they provide to you. So that's software as a service, and a lot of companies are software as a service companies in today's day and age, and that's the whole debate with kind of the tariff stuff going on and the manufacturing versus the service industry. A lot of companies on the S&P 500 in today's day and age are, tech companies, software companies, Facebook, and these other companies. They came up being software companies and services, and how they're formally built is mainly through code, and they add on. They keep becoming more complex, but you have to start somewhere. So what I've been doing, and I believe is something that everybody can do and everybody should do, is utilize AI. Utilize AI as your self-tutor. That's really what I've been doing. I've been programming the one AI chatbot that I talk to, and I'll talk about which one it is exactly, is Google Gemini 2.5. This is the most advanced AI language model that can reason and do code-based mathematics and all this very complex stuff, and it could actually build you applications. So I'm not going to walk through that exactly today in this video. I'm going to make a whole separate video on exactly, and I touched on it in the past, but I am going to make a full video on Google Gemini 2.5 and kind of the coding aspects that it could build for you going forward in your business. But there's more I wanted to talk about today because this is the Sunday conversation. So please drop any questions you guys have in the chat. I'll be able to answer those related to that. But going back to the software as a service, you have to have some coding knowledge in order to build these front ends and back ends of these companies and these businesses and websites that you're going to build. It's not as simple as just building a front end landing page with a Squarespace site or a Shopify site, right? Those are good tools to use to get you started for different landing pages, and maybe you want to test if this product you're creating will sell. So maybe you want to get out and get a wait list going, or just something that people could land on, and you could get an idea if this traffic is going to be now worth creating this product for. And that leads me to kind of the first point about software as a service, is some people don't know where to start. And that's completely fair, because there's so many different software as a services out there that people might be like, well, how am I going to create one that's as good as this company here, or create one that's different than this one here? Well, that's two good questions, and the answer is you don't have to create anything too much different. If you use a software as a service that you think is simple enough that you could begin to learn how to create, great. Today's day and age is all about copying these products and these services and then slightly tweaking them to your specific needs or your customer's specific needs. And that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do is make a slight modification to the product to make it a little bit better. Maybe it's a clothing brand or a clothing niche that you're working into, so you make the application more towards clothing. Or maybe it's more towards e-commerce entrepreneurs. You want to focus it towards them. Those are great niches to go down. So you don't have to come up with a brand new idea. You don't have to come up with the next Instagram, the next Facebook, or anything like that. What you need to do is take products that work. So just go online and scroll through Instagram. You'll see tons of different ads for different software companies and different services that can be provided to you. So go on, find one that you yourself would use, and that will give you an idea of what you're knowledgeable about in the industry, in the niche. And then you could go about step 2 here, which I'm going to talk about, is self-education, right? So find out what you like, find out which platforms you would actually want to use and you would actually want to build in terms of a software as a service, and do some educating on it. Read up the business model of a software as a service. All right. If you guys have any questions about it, drop them in the chat. I'll do the best of my abilities to answer those questions 100%. Because there is some complex things, but why I believe that software as a service is the best business model to get into right now, which it's also one of the most difficult to get into right now for reasons we're going to talk about with AI and stuff. But I believe it's the most profitable right now is because you could build this product one time, right? You could build this product one time and you could sell it infinitely. And you could continue to tweak this product and make it better. And all you need to do is build it one time. Take that initial step, do a little bit of marketing in the beginning, get a couple users, get a couple people acclimated to the product, and then you'll have a product built, and you have a customer base, and you'll have your first test users on there building it. And then you could scale it infinitely. If people inside of it, the first couple people that use it, believe that it's a good product and they're telling you everything and they're giving you feedback on things they want to see fixed, you're ahead of 99% of people. 99% of people never get to that area of the business. So infinitely scalable, low startup costs if you could do it yourself. Also low startup costs if you're going to hire maybe a developer to help you build this idea out. You don't want to take the time through step 2, which I'm going to tell you, which is if you want to do it by yourself. That's great. If you have the money that you want to go for it and you want to hire a developer to build it for you in a couple of weeks, that's great. But I think if you really want to be a true entrepreneur, is you have to build your product almost yourself. You're going to need help in different areas and marketing and all this other stuff, but you want to have a fundamental understanding of how your business is actually built and how it actually works. So I believe that you should utilize step 2, which I'm going to talk about right now, to build your website or to build your application, whatever it might be. So step 2, and this is like a newer step. This is something that has come up over the past 3 to 5 years that you could actually do. And most recently, I don't think you could have done like what I'm doing now with AI even 6 months ago. This is how new this stuff is and how quickly it's developing, right? This is new technology that you could use to your advantage, not only to self-educate yourself, but to build different things. All right. So what I'm doing right now, and like I said before, I'm using Google Gemini 2.5, but it's not just Google Gemini 2.5. It's not just you go on google.com and the Gemini thing pops up and you start tapping away. Google has their own kind of AI studio. I think that's actually what it's called. All right, so it's aistudio.google.com. And when you get to the Google AI Studio, and I'm gonna share my screen here just so we could just take a look at it together. Let me see. Here we go. All right. Let's make sure we can see it. I'm just going to check it out on my end. All right, so this is Google AI Studio, and this is pretty much what I'm talking about of Google's new AI. It's fairly easy to use, fairly simple to use. As you can see on the left, you have your chats and you have your stream, and all the stream is that you can pretty much talk to it. You know, Gemini Live, you could talk to it, you could show your webcam to it, and you could even screen share to it, so that it's going to take that information. You're either on the webcam, so it could see me, like it could get a recognition of who I am, or I could show it stuff on my screen, right? So this is insane technology that we're getting to here. But where the real difference is, in as opposed to just Google Gemini, is it's going to be over here in your run settings. All right, so right now this is the Google Gemini 2.5 Pro. This is just a preview as of right now, as of March 25th. You can see there, but it's still fully usable. Best use cases are listed here actually. Reason over complex problems, tackle difficult code, math, and STEM problems. Use the long context for analyzing large data sets and code bases or documents. So some of the examples I saw that people were using this when I first got into it was a guy was loading up, if you click this button here, insert assets, he was loading up files, and what he was doing was he was loading up the Amazon 10K, the Walmart 10K, and a bunch of like top 5 companies in the US, their 10Ks, and he was saying, run me the numbers like through the 10K, and he's like, give me visualization charts and analytics and all this different stuff to show him the data. So it was analyzing the data in the 10K, and then it was showing it in graphs, charts, and all different types of things. So it was crazy. Like it looked through 700 pages of very complex Amazon, Walmart, Nvidia, and Apple like stock paperwork, and it was able to digest it and then give it to you in visual aspects and charts and graphs and all different things. So it was really cool, and it got me thinking about different things it could do. And one that I really wanted to learn and wanted to do was learn how to code. Right? I didn't go to school to code. I have a slight knowledge in HTML and JavaScript and C++ and some other language things that I picked up on over the years building websites. But when I really started to dive into it, I thought this could be my tutor. This is something that I could use to teach me, no matter how dumb the question is or no matter how complex the question is, this can answer my question. And one of the ones that I'll show you here, and this has pretty much been the only use case I had for it, right? So right now we're talking about we're pretty far into the starting phase of GitHub, right? And one of the things is I wanted to learn how to use GitHub. I never used GitHub before, and I've heard about it, and I heard that the APIs and the things that GitHub provides was very great, and it was very in depth, and I didn't know where to get started. So if you guys have ever used GitHub, you got on there. It's pretty complex to get started. Not to start a project, but maybe to use plugins and to use different things. And of course, you need to know how to code, and you need to know the coding languages. So this Google AI Studio is now my personal tutor in GitHub and building applications within GitHub. All right, so as you can see, it walked you through. I successfully navigated the core GitHub workflow. So I created a new project. I cloned it from the tab here. So this is the simple outline of my project. So I copied that into a hard drive model onto the hard drive of my computer and now onto the GitHub desktop version here. So have my project working in the Chrome tab, but also on my computer saved as well, so if things go wrong. So that is what I'm using it for. And you could use it for any idea that you could think of. It doesn't have to be just like you want to learn how to code. I think there's so many different use cases for it. I think you could really do whatever you want with it. But I think if you take the time to use it as your personal tutor, you're going to be way better off than the majority of people who are just asking it general knowledge questions and getting some generic answers, right? This is really to be a tool to you, to be an asset to you. You want to use it to enhance your education, to enhance your skills, to save time, to save money, all that different types of things. All right, so I want to do just a quick example with you. And I know I said I wasn't going to do a full tutorial, but let's just do something super quick so you guys could see the power of this and what I'm talking about. Just a few more things before I do that. So the temperature over here, this is going to tell the model how creative you want it to be. So if you want it to be super creative, we're going to turn that up to a 2. But if you want it to be more just kind of toned back, more conservative in its responses or its creations, you could put it lower at 0 or 0.1, 0.2, whatever it is. I like to get a little bit more creative with it, so I'm going to do it at 1.2. And this is where it gets really interesting. All right, so just something off the top of my head. Let's say, build me a page using HTML and JavaScript build me a web page using HTML, JavaScript that let's see, what's it going? That shows all the 10Q releases for the stock on the New York Stock Exchange. So let's see how this does. And once you click that, it's going to say thinking. And what you could do is you can expand the thoughts of the AI model. So this is what the AI is thinking about. So here's a thinking process that leads to the provided HTML and JavaScript code for displaying 10Q filings. Understand the goal. The user wants a web page that shows the latest 10Q quarterly financial reports, releases for the top 500 companies on the New York Stock Exchange. Key components, web page structure, data source, company list. So it's going to get all the companies, data fetching, and display logics. Going to need JavaScript to take the processed data and render it into an HTML structure. Styling. Address the challenges, data source, API. Okay, so this is it's gonna need an API for some of the data plugins. But where I want to, okay, so this is okay. So as you can see, it generated the code for me. Get the API key. So it's gonna need, you need an API key to get all of the 10Ks. But that's fine. I just wanted to show you guys how this was even possible. All right, so create files in the same folder, index HTML, all right, styling, and then script for JavaScript. Paste the code into the files below, yada, yada, yada. But what I want to do is I just want to see if I can download this. I know let's open it. Yeah, see, it's not gonna. I'm going to say combine these into one file so I can open it in Chrome. Okay. So let's see if we can do it. I should have said that in the beginning prompt. All right. All right, so it's going to create this in one file. It should have been all one file from the start. So this is the page it would have created for me. So like I said, the API key is not set, so you're not going to actually be able to get the 10Q data. But what I could do instead is download the 10Qs myself from Yahoo Finance, from Market Watcher, wherever you get your data from. You could just download them here and then give the data to the AI and let them go through it. But you're going to need different plugins from different websites and API keys to continue to build off of this. And that's the whole point, is to keep educating yourself and keep learning this stuff so that you could just build this application yourself. But like, that's how easy it is. Like, I could have, if I had the API plugin for that, I would have done that in, what was that, 1 minute, and been able to build a website like that. So this is my whole point of what I wanted to talk about today, right? It's not even about that. It's not about the 10Ks. It's not about the, it's not about the 10Qs or even about, just building it or showing you guys this. But what I really wanted to loop this all back in now, doing the weave away and going through AI and going through this stuff, is building software as a service businesses. This is why it is so profitable in today's day and age, is because you could come onto a platform like this, Google AI Studio. You could jump in, you could play with the prompts for a couple days. Once you start getting good at it, you're going to be able to really dial it in and save these files down. Now you have a full-fledged software that you've built with AI, in-depthly, and that's why I want to learn the back end with GitHub and this Visual Studio Code. So being able to actually save my code the correct way, as opposed to just having code sitting in Google AI Studio, Now when I go to utilize this code and build databases and all this kind of stuff, it's actually in the correct format that it should be. And when I want to go get that API plugin for these financial reportings, once I do the API correctly, now it's flowing into my GitHub, it's flowing into my Visual Code Studio. It's like now it's done the correct way. And when things start taking off and you start getting users and acquisitions and people start coming in and they're spending money on it, and you have a Stripe account connected, it's like things are getting done the right way. And that's how you want to do it from the beginning. There's nothing wrong with trying and just learning with the AI model and saving it there and saving the files down that it gives you. Nothing wrong with that at all. But there is going to be ways, once you get bigger into the future, you're going to wish you did it differently from the start. So that way you don't have to restart. So that's an overview of the AI and the coding aspect that I'm teaching myself. So I think that moving forward, software as a service companies, or whatever you want to call them. Sandy said in the chat, what's up, brother? It's absolutely amazing you could do that with AI now. This is why entry-level coding jobs are non-existent anymore. Yep, because they could utilize these AI bots to just go out and build them. And I see we got some double-digit viewers in the live stream, so I hope you guys are enjoying, we're talking about this. Losing my voice from the wedding. But guys, this is why it's so powerful. And I think with everything going on in the world, you're hearing tariff wars, you're hearing a rebalancing of the world global economies in terms of trade, right? Who knows what's going to happen over the next year or two? Things could be great in the long run, but they could be disruptive in the short term. So you don't want to risk building your business on a Chinese drop shipping supplier, because you just don't know what's going to happen over the next couple of years. You don't know if companies are going to start shutting down, or if suppliers might go out of business, manufacturers, and your margins are going to be cut very thin, and you're going to have to do way more work, and you have to put more money into advertising. So things are very uncertain. But where I think people could really be disruptive, and I don't want you guys to be too disruptive, because it's going to take away from my profits, right? No, I'm just kidding. That's why I'm here, to educate and to help everyone build this kind of stuff. But where you could really differentiate your e-commerce niche, whatever you want to call it, like whatever your business model is building easy to use applications that people will use and pay for. That's really all it is. It doesn't have to be anything, like I said before, it doesn't have to be Facebook, it doesn't have to be Instagram, it doesn't have to be TikTok, these crazy apps that are crazy and, billions of people use. You just need to find a small niche of people, maybe 500,000 in this niche, and then you're going to go after that 500,000 and try to acquire all 500,000 of them towards your niche. Great, right? And if your product costs $10 a month and you have 100,000 users, what's the math on that? Boom, 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 boom. $1 million a month in monthly recurring revenue. That's the goal, is it not? So you're trying to get, and 100,000 out of that $500,000 niche is only 20% of people. So you still have room to go after that, right? So that's just, you got to play with these numbers in your head, and you have to understand the business model that you're working within. But it all has to start somewhere, and it all has to start with self-educating. True entrepreneurs are self-educators. They learn more and more about what they're doing each and every day. Nobody is ever going to come into something, start it like they know everything, they're rich, their business is making millions of dollars. It just doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in the history of anything, right? If you look at how these big companies arise, Amazon, for instance, one of the biggest companies in the world, e-commerce companies in the world, it started as an online bookstore. All it was a web page where Jeff Bezos was selling books. That's all it was. And look how it has evolved ever since then, right? Now you have Amazon Web Services, and you have fleets of Rivian trucks delivering packages in 6 hours. It's like it's a compounding effort every single day. So once you get something down and you do it very well, then you start implementing layers on top of it. And that's exactly what I'm trying to preach here with this AI business model. It's not even giving customers AI, but it's using AI as the business. The ideas are coming from you. The work is coming from, and the in-depth knowledge is coming from the AI. That is how modern businesses are built, right? You don't have all the knowledge you need to run a mega corporation in your head. You have to utilize tools and other people as well, right? And AI can't do all the work. You need other people as well. That's more once you start growing and, payroll comes into effect, right? But for solopreneurship, it's all you need. Everything I just talked about. So guys, make sure to go check out the Google Gemini 2.5 in the Google AI Studio. It's game changing. If you guys want more resources of what it can do, go check out some other YouTube videos. I'm gonna do one myself. It's good for applications. I've seen people build games on there, simple like little arcade games, snake games like you used to play on the Nokia phones, and Tetris and stuff like that. So it's just unreal opportunity to just get started with something, and it's a great code writer, and it can, if it errors out in the GitHub platform or the Visual Code platform, you just say, hey, I got this error, and then it'll be like, oh, I made a mistake here. So it's really good, guys. It's really good to just learn the basics of some of this stuff. All right. Any other questions? Anybody in the chat? Again, late Sunday conversation today. It was a late night in Miami last night. Then had to make the drive back from Miami. But yeah. Guys, please let me know if there's any other questions. But if not, I'm going to call it there for a day. All right. Long day, losing my voice. All right. I am going to be doing another stream tomorrow night, probably around the same time. I like this 8 p.m. time. So I'm going to go rip the gym right now and then call it a night. But I think tomorrow, 8 p.m., we'll dive more into the Google Gemini 2.5. I'm going to have some prompts laid out before we jump on stream, and going to touch a little bit more on my project that I'm working on and how AI is helping me build that. Like I said, using different applications, GitHub and Studio Visual AI. It's really good, and I believe I'm not deterring you away from dropshipping, e-commerce, but there's other things to learn, and it's an ever-evolving process. Dropshipping, e-commerce was great when in right before COVID, right? Everyone was just starting to get going, or I'll say right at the beginning of COVID, right? Because people shut down and they started ordering stuff, and online business was booming. So, but things change, right? Policies change, and world geopolitics change, and world trades itself change. So, like, as things come up, it might not be the best foot going forward. And we've known that. I've talked about this before, how it's not the most profitable business model. I've always talked about digital products and digital sales and digital platforms being the best, but they're the most education needed to get started, right? Not many people are just going to be able to jump online and build a website and build products for people, right? That's just not how it works. So it's an ever-going self-education strategy, right? You have to just keep learning. You have to keep building, keep grinding on it day in and day out. All right. Well, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys are following or watching this on YouTube, watching this on X, if you guys do want to work with me on the day-to-day when I'm not live on stream and where I'm actually working and I could see messages and I'm chatting with people, is in the Taylor's Code. So if you guys want to get into the Taylor's Code, go to the link in my description wherever you're watching this video, whether if it's on X or YouTube, and go to the community tab on the website, click join, and that's going to give you the opportunity to join the community inside of the Taylor's Code, where we have hundreds of people working day in and day out, asking questions, analyzing charts with Priamo, sending tons of charts. Your investments will never look better. I mean, it's a great time to buy, right? As Trump said last week before the market started ripping, it's a great time to buy, I believe. So having a coach that could teach you the basics and the advancements of crypto markets, stock markets, looking at supplies and looking at the demand zones of these crypto coins and looking at them of the stocks and equities, and understanding the whole financial markets as a whole, not just looking at stocks and crypto, just understanding the whole geopolitical world that we live in with, bonds and everything, right? Everything ties into it. It's all part of one. So that's what we do on the Gentleman's Codes on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. as well. We talk about that kind of stuff, current events with that stuff going on. So if you guys do want to get in there, if you're interested in crypto, you're interested in e-commerce, you're interested in getting your fitness in peak shape, join up the Taylor's Code, man. There's never been a better group of guys working together towards their goal that I've ever been a part of. And that's what we're trying to bring in the best people. So if you guys are out there, join up the community. I guarantee you it'll be worth your while just from a networking perspective. So many people in so many countries all around the world. We got guys in Bangladesh and India. We got guys in the UK. We got guys in Germany. We got guys in South America. Like, we got the best of the best here in America as well. So, all right, join up the community. Shoot me a message in there, and we'll get you guys running on your first online store. All right? We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. All right? Got something in store for you.